Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you have been paying attention to the last few videos, you may have noticed that those were all way pre-recorded ahead of time, so this is actually the first video that I'm recording in 2018. So here's what happened in my life. I ended up, obviously the holiday season is absolutely insane, so the holiday season was very, very busy for my family, my friends. We had holidays spent here in Rochester, and then we went down to Washington, D.C. to visit my sister, and I got to see my mom as well, which was very nice. But after that, we ended up going to Florida, and we were on vacation for a week, so it was like I took a week and a half plus off work, which ended up turning into almost 2 weeks because I ended up getting sick, and by the time we got back here, it was Thursday of last week, so I worked 2 half days in a row, and yesterday, which was Monday, was actually my first real day back to work. So I am finally back to work. I am finally back to shooting videos. I wanted to get this video shot yesterday. Didn't happen because I am way too swamped over here, but I am getting to it today, and I'm finally recording this video, so I am excited. Today we're gonna do another chit-chat kind of video, and I want to talk about how to maintain a blog while still working a full-time job. So if you know anything about me, I actually started my blog while I was working a full-time job. It started in October of 2016. I was working a full-time job for about, well, I started in May, and then that was October, so I guess 5 months I was working a full-time job for only 5 months after graduating college, and I decided that I wanted to start a blog. And while I was blogging, I was working full-time. I ended up telling my boss that I did start my blog because I wanted to be as open as possible, especially because I was working in the digital marketing industry, and my blog talked a lot about digital marketing. And now it was mainly targeted towards bloggers, but some of my content was directed towards other small businesses, and it was helpful for business owners, which kind of went in the same direction as the company I was working for, so I was really worried about a conflict of interest. So I told my boss, and we got everything cleared there. I tried to stick to bloggers so that I was in a different niche and I didn't compete with the company that I was working for. While I was working my full-time job, I was actually a digital marketing consultant. For the beginning part, I ended up transitioning my position, and I became the digital content manager for the company and social media strategist. So I did a lot of social media content and blogging content and random other tasks that were thrown my way. A lot of it actually wasn't blog related. I only had a few blogs to write each week, and that's kind of what got me started in the blogging world. When I managed my blog and my full-time job, I was very lucky because for the majority of the time I was working remotely. So in November of 2016, I ended up moving up to Rochester, New York, and I took my full-time position, which at the time was in person. I ended up taking it to a remote position. So I worked for that company from November of 2016 until October of 2017 as a full-time employee working remotely from my home. At the time, that was actually my apartment, and now I am in my home. So things are a little bit different, but basically the same. While I was doing that, I was very lucky in the fact that I could work for my job from 8 to 5. I was done work at 5. I signed off immediately. Like, I was done at 5, and I started working on my blog, and I would work most nights from 5 until probably 9 o'clock at night, and then I would wake up every Saturday morning. I would always work on my blog Saturday morning while Alex was still in bed with Fancy, and I would get work done there. So I found ways to make it work, and I probably put in, at the time, I was putting in probably 15 hours a week on my blog. It was probably actually more than that because I used any free time I could to honestly work on my blog. Now, you may be thinking, okay, so you went to bed at 9 o'clock. What's the big deal? Well, I like my sleep, and I can't function if I don't have my 8 hours of sleep. I'm telling you, I need 8 hours of sleep. So I made sure that that was a priority in my life, and a lot of people would probably work late and wake up early in the morning to get the work that they needed done for their side hustle, but I couldn't do that because I knew that wasn't going to help me to be my most productive self. And now I know a lot of people go into an office, they work an office job, and that might be you, and you may be thinking, okay, well, I spend an hour a day commuting, or I don't have the flexibility over lunch to just work on my blog. Typically, I sit at my desk and I work on other work things. I get it, that's totally reasonable, and I see where you're coming from, but you have to find other ways to make it work. So how do you maintain a full-time job and a blog? Well, here's the thing. There's going to be sacrifices. No matter what, there's going to be sacrifices. You're going to have to say no to events. Recently, I ended up turning down some of Alex's family members, and he went to an event alone because I had to get work done. But that's okay. There's going to be sacrifices. You're going to have to say no to events. You're going to have nights in instead of nights out. You may actually lose your Friday nights altogether, and they might be dedicated to working, and your weekends are probably going to get a little bit crazy. So you need to understand that there's going to be sacrifices, and that you really do need to put your blog first if you want it to succeed. So here's my recommendations. Work on weekends or any free chance you get. I know that may seem crazy. Maybe you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so busy on weekends. I actually have a life. How much time do you really spend on social media on a weekend? Probably a lot of time. I encourage you to download the Moment app. I recently downloaded the Moment app on my phone, and it tracks how much time I spend on my phone. And I was learning that every day I was spending 2+ hours on my phone. What was the point? There was no point. I could be spending that time more productively towards my blog and growing my business. So I ended up transitioning that time, and now my goal is to spend less than an hour a day on my phone. Now, you may be thinking, that is still a lot of time on your phone, girl. Yes, it is. That is a lot of time on my phone. But I understand that part of growing my business is being on my phone in the sense of social media. I spend a lot of time talking on Instagram stories, and it is a huge way to connect with my audience. So if I spend my time that way on my phone, I'm okay with it because I'm still working. I just need to be cautious that I'm not just scrolling through social media until the end of time. The other tip I want to give you is to work in as much free time as you can. So you do have a lot of free time in your life, and you may not think that you have a lot of free time, but trust me, you do. And there's a part of your free time that I really think should be put towards personal development or self-care, and trust me, I have a huge allotted amount of time for that because that is what keeps me sane, that's what keeps me running, and that's what keeps my business and my blog going. But if you are maintaining a full-time job and a blog, you need to understand how to use your free time wisely. So if that means that you wake up early in the morning to get work done, or you work during your lunch hour, or you work right after work, you need to figure out how you're going to make it work so that you can maintain your blog and your full-time job. Now, here's what I'm really going to recommend. When I was transitioning out of my full-time position into just my blog, I slacked on my full-time position, and I slacked a lot. I spent a lot of time just focusing on my blog, and every single thing that I did, I was thinking about, why can't I be spending more time on my blog? Here's an idea for my blog, and my mind was all over the place. I was context switching so much that I really couldn't get anything done with my full-time job. That's not encouraged, and I understand that you probably want to take your blog to the next level. You probably want to turn it into a full-time business, but you can't lose the connections, and you can't crap on your full-time job, because there might come a point where you're not ready to take your blog to a full-time position yet, but you're not dedicating the time to your current full-time position, and they fire you or they let you go. And I don't want to ever see you in that position. I would like that you would be smart about your business decisions and your blog decisions, and understand that you need your full-time income so that you can blog on the side. So I understand that blogging is a huge side hustle, and it may take up a lot of your thoughts and priority, but you really need to be considerate and realize that someone is paying you for the work that you are doing in your full-time position. Now, I hope that was a little bit of help for you, sharing my blogging experience and hopefully helping you with your full-time position and your blog. Understand that your blog is a side hustle, and you need to work really hard to get it to where you want to be. Everything you put into your blog, you will get out of it, and I've realized that with money, with my personal self, with so many other things outside of money. I've received so many benefits, and everything I've thrown in, my whole entire heart and soul, I've gotten out. And if you're thinking about transitioning your blog into a full-time business, you need to realize that you need to hustle your booty off and work for your money. While you're working a full-time position, you're basically making money every single week. No matter the work that you're putting in, you're getting the same amount of money out. That's not going to be true with your blog. And you need to realize that time is money, and money is value, and when you use it wisely, you'll start making money. So I hope that was helpful, and I will see you guys back here in another video. Bye, guys.